As we've been telling you, today in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, President Biden set to address climate change, which he sees as a major threat to America. It comes while his very own climate czar, John Kerry, faces backlash as his family's private jet is put to very good use. Records show Kerry's Gulfstream made 48 trips since Biden took office, emitting more than 300 metric tons of carbon, which, of course, he would frown on, except it's his jet. Fox News contributor Douglas Murray joins us right now. Look, you got a problem with this guy? He's really rich. He's got a jet. He can fly around, as he tells people not to fly around in jets.
That's right. I mean, this is the kind of hypocrisy we're very used to by now, isn't it?
Right.
Everybody else has got to basically lock down, not fly. Particularly the poorer people in the world mustn't fly because that causes carbon. But if you're very rich and you're telling everyone else not to fly, you're allowed to fly. Right. That's the deal. You
know, what's so curious is, and you're from Europe, Europe was ahead of us when it came to the green energy thing. But at the same time, I was just reading yesterday in the Wall Street Journal, Europe is doubling down on nuclear power because, you know, there is no carbon footprint for coal.
Right. I mean, Europe is a very interesting warning for America at the moment. European governments went big on this whole climate emergency thing.
They did.
First of all, we've got to say the climate emergency thing. There is emergency after emergency in our societies at the moment. You know, we have COVID emergencies, we have Ukraine emergencies. Whenever there's not an absolutely vital recent emergency, we can always fall back on, and the climate emergency. The European governments have been doing that for years, mainly egged on by the famous Swedish school truant Greta Thunberg. And they really were pressured by her and her movement. And so parties across Europe announced, we've got a climate emergency. Well, what's one of the results of that? The reliance on, for instance, Russian gas. All of this stuff is connected. Vladimir Putin is expecting this winter that the European alliance will fall apart because France, Germany, they're going to go coal. They're not going to have basically the energy required. So here's the interesting thing that's happening. Even the German Greens who are in government, even the German Greens have now come back on board with coal. And there's one more step they have to go, which is whether or not they can go all the way into nuclear, which would mean they're effectively not a Green Party anymore. But that's what happens if the lights are not going to come on.
Sure. And I read that France is actually doubling down on atomic power because for a variety of reasons.
Yes, absolutely.
And so perhaps that is, and Rick Perry was talking about these smaller modular reactors and stuff like that. Maybe that's a way out of this until they figure out how solar cars and battery cars work.
You know, unfortunately, people like John Kerry like to think of themselves as staring out across the long term, the sort of 50,000-yard stare. The reality is that to the extent they're thinking at all, they're thinking far too long term and ignoring the short term. The short term consequences of the kind of policies that Biden is being encouraged to pursue in the US literally end up with the lights not turning on in your country. They end up with the gas prices tripling. That's where you are. So I just urge these people, whilst they're jetting around in their private jets, remember the short term because we have to live in it.
Absolutely. And I understand Mr. Kerry is going to an event in Germany and he was asked, are you taking the private jet? And apparently his people said, no, he's flying commercial. So
that's very good of him.
Look at that.
Wow.
Can't take the heat. Get out of the private jet. All right. Douglas, thank you very much.
Great pleasure.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.